Hello and welcome to this Expert Zone UK and I live stream. I'm Christian. I'm here with my colleague.
Hello, I
Sam.
am Sam. How you
So,
doing?
you ready for today, Sam? We're going to cover something a little bit different that we don't normally cover, which is
I
I'm
know.
very excited about.
I'm really excited, actually. Ever since we mentioned it on the last stream, I have been really looking forward to tonight, and it has taken absolutely everything for me not to play this game beforehand because I want a live reaction. I want you guys to have a live reaction because of how well it landed when we saw it earlier this year.
Yeah, so it's, we're doing this in prep for a game that's going to release later this month. So today we are looking at Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, the first Hellblade game in preparation for the day one release coming at towards the end of the month on the 21st of May, which is Hellblade 2. And we felt that it would be appropriate to look at this game in preparation because, one, you can play it right now on Game Pass. So this is a game we're looking at. This game's 6 years old now, so it's been around a while, but it's not aged at all. It still plays brilliantly. It looks the way the game's designed is just incredible, and you've not played it before, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we wanted to look at it because actually, if you're looking at Hellblade 2, it's interested you, it's a great time to play this because you've got plenty of time to play this and to complete it with your Game Pass subscription before the new one releases. So it's a great, it could be a month of Hellblade. It's amazing.
No, like you say, it is. First up, I was pleasantly surprised that it was an 18 gig download. So it absolutely flew. But gameplay-wise, you will fit this in before Hellblade 2.
You will
easily
fit this in. You will. And it's, one of the great things, we talk about all the stuff that comes to Game Pass. So, we've mentioned the fact that Hellblade's coming to Game Pass as a day one release. So for those active members, you can start playing it on day one. You can set it to pre-download right now. But this is almost like it's a back catalog title because it came out on, for Xbox, it came out on Xbox One. So it's a previous generation title. It plays brilliantly, so it adds to that extra value of Game Pass that we always talk about. So I'd love to know in the chat, so if anyone's played it, if you're planning on playing the new one at all, did you play it when it first came out? We'd love to know your thoughts on this game series. This is a game that's made by Ninja Theory, and actually when they first made this game, they didn't have really any backing or anybody to publish this game. They made it, and they were so determined that the style of game that they wanted to make, they plowed on, and it got picked up, and it's been massively successful. And the great thing is, like with Ninja Theory, they've almost got that that independent title feel with a big AAA feel as well. So Hannah Boffin's in the chat. We've got MF Cosplays in the chat. Nice to see you again. And we've also got Adam Jones as well, which is awesome. MF Cosplays has said not played it. However, the way you guys speak about it made me come back this week to see what it's like.
Yeah, so I've been excited about this game since we did our reaction video and Hellblade 2 was announced earlier this year. And to see how they record it was the key for me in getting my interest, piquing my interest, and hit the storyline behind that. And it focuses a lot on Senua's psychosis. And they have put so much research into the effects of psychosis, the science behind it, and they've done real life medical research as well. And that was apparent when I loaded the game. They put a screen up and they gave those, they gave the trigger warnings with it. They gave information about what they'd done to make sure this was really true to life, and it's not overreacted in any way. This is truly what people with psychosis experience. And to be able to hear that and feel that, I'm on the title screen at the minute and I haven't figured out how to turn the music off, and I've got goosebumps at the minute. So I don't know what I'm going to be like in the game, but ever since we saw them recording it with the 360 audios in the studio, I know I wanted to play it.
It really is an immersive game. And one of the things you'll notice, so we're going to load the game in a minute because the intro is going to take a little bit of time with the title sequence, and you're going to hear a lot of audio in the the intro sequence. Actually, the first names that come up when you see that title sequence, they are one of the people that comes up is actually the psychologist that worked on it.
Yes.
He comes up before anybody else.
Okay.
That's how much depth they've gone into with the psychosis and how it works, and actually it's helped towards some of the study towards psychosis as well. So, like while we're talking about this, let's get that game loaded.
There we go.
Sorry, cough. So Adam Jones said he's played it, completely loved it. Would definitely recommend you play straight after this stream. MF cosplay.
That is a great suggestion.
It's a really good game. So if you haven't played it, it's a puzzle-solving, psychological melee combat game. It's a bit. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone.
Who are you?
So we've got a little bit of feedback.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry if it currently sounds like you're in the multiverse. We will try and solve that right now while we're on stream.
Let me reshare.
So, just while Sam's sorting that. So, this intro sequence, it's very cinematic, and one of the great things about this is the game doesn't have cutscenes as you would traditionally suspect. So the cinematics and the gameplay blend into one. So it's a really quite an immersive experience. And Sam's got this on with headphones. I highly recommend that if you test this game, it's one of the best games, if not the best game you can play with headphones. The game, as you play it, is going to talk to you. There are voices that replicate the psychosis that will help you, and they will also try and mislead you. It's a very immersive game. Sounds like Spatch Audio you're getting from the game. Oh, yeah. I think that's what just destroyed. Thanks.
The others.
Let us know if that's any better.
I tell you about
This intro really is. It's really immersive. If we listen to some of the things it says, it really does sort of absorb you into the game, and straight away you've got that. This is what it's going to be like, and it's going to be. This is what it's going to be. You're really going to feel how she feels very soon.
This is a journey deep into darkness. There'll be no more stories after this one.
What is she doing? Why is she doing this? They're watching. Why doesn't she turn back? She's doing this for him. She wants to rescue him. He's already dead. I feel you coming.
Quiet. Oh, how rude of me. I never told you of the others. You hear them too.
As you can see, the mental health voices are first things that appear. And this game has designed completely different to
Some are old.
games that
Some
we
new.
had.
Change.
Still got a bit of an echo.
Just a little.
So to give you an idea, with Hellblade, we've mentioned it's on Game Pass. It's set in a dark fantasy world, and it's a mix of Norse mythology and Celtic culture. So it's set around the 9th century, but like between the 8th and 9th century. So it's got a lot of sort of like a very Norse and Celtic feel. And if you're used to some of those big cinematic universes where you're used to like Norse mythology within films, some of that does underlie into the game, but more in a traditional manner. It's made by Ninja Theory, which we've mentioned, which make massive titles, but it really is almost like an independent AAA title. It's got such a unique feel, and they really didn't shy away from that independent feel with that AAA mix. So we tend to see a lot of games that can be very similar, and Hellblade really does break that mold. So I really would, if you haven't played this, we've seen there's a couple of people in the chat that have played this already that are already recommending it, and we haven't even started playing it.
Right, let's.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're on the intro sequence here. I'm sure you can hear it and stuff, Sam. So what's your
Yes.
first thoughts to the audio? What's it like, experiencing sort of the voices that you're hearing? And
It's very eerie. It feels like they're in the room with me, which I think is the most like I can feel I've got goosebumps on my arm now because I can hear them out of each individual earpiece. I can hear them talking on my left, I can hear them talking on my right, but independently, and it does feel like someone is currently circling me. And it's really unnerving, but in a good way. The fact that I've never played a game that has managed to do this before really intrigues me. And I can hear that they are warnings as well. So they are telling me, don't go forwards, go back, don't go this way. And clearly we're ignoring them. I am controlling where we can look as well. It'll only let me go certain distances left and right.
Yeah, you can only look left and right. You can look up a little bit as well, and it actively tries to encourage you to look at the bodies on the shore. It says she's not looking. Like it whispers little things constantly.
It's so soft as well that I think that's another eerie part of it, is that it really does sound like someone is whispering to you that you should not be here. You need to go back.
Yeah, so set the story of Hellblade. We have mentioned psychosis, and you do hear those mix of voices, but in this, she really is driven by the death of a loved one, and that's what encourages her to go on and play through. I mean, this intro is quite long. But once you start playing it, you really do get into a mix of the style of game quite quickly. Which I find really, really interesting. So, it.
Ooh. See, I think this affects me a little bit more because I'm not a fan of horror games. Horror games for me they're a no-go.
It's sort of if it's very different to what you're used to, and we've spoken about this several times, Sam. Is you tend to play slightly different styles of games, don't you?
Yes.
But this really is a story-driven game, and some of the puzzles in it, are real. They're amazing. Like there's times that like I've played through and I've gone, I can't work the puzzle out because I'm not super strong on puzzle games, but it's so worth it.
100%. And don't get me wrong, I'm not adverse to a story-based game. A lot of my games are first-person shooters, but I'm not adverse to story games. I know that quite recently Lara Croft Shadow of the Tomb Raider came onto Game Pass, and that straight on my download list. And that is very much similar, story-based, story-driven, puzzles. But this is just something a little bit different, and I really do like it. And it's such a stunning game as well. Considering this is 6 years old and launched as what would now be classed as a legacy game because it was on the Xbox One consoles, it doesn't feel it. The details are incredible. The shadows are incredible. I set the shadows before we started streaming, so they're perfect for me and my monitor, etc. But it's so detailed.
You're now starting to get your first look at actual gameplay now. So that intro really does set the scene. And you do sort of start by like exploring sort of, the mechanics, how it works. And one of the things you're going to need to do as you play through this is you're going to sort of find lore stones, which is going to give Senua some history into like Norse mythology and things as well. So let's just pop that down. So you're starting to look around. Are you comfortable with all your controls? Because I'm not gonna lie, the first time I played through, I had to pause it and keep finding what the controls were several times.
Yeah, we'll learn as we go. Let's see. There we go.
So, as you see,
sorry, we've got a bit of a slow walk on the go. Ah, I like this. Oh.
So it's one of your lore stones. If you focus on that, it should give you some information about Norse mythology and the mythology that's for her people. And there are 44 of these to collect.
Okay. I do like a good collectible.
So, I've got a bit of a cough today. It's hot today. It is hot today, people. So, if we carry on, have you got all the audio from that? We'll explore through and try and find some puzzles to complete, see if we can get some combat going. So, we're trying to set the scene here of, this is the first Hellblade game. I think, if I remember correctly, that the time to complete this game is around 8 hours for extras and main story. So it's not a super long game, but it's a great play into the release of Hellblade 2. So it's a great, you can play it now or you can play it next week, ready for the new release.
Yeah, that's right. So there's plenty of time to finish this before the new release. I think depending on how much or how little you explore, that could increase. Exactly. I get distracted by a lot of things.
So Games Guru's in the chat, and he's going, might go back to this ahead of playing the sequel. Yeah, it's a good refresher, and that's exactly why we're looking at it today. Even if you've played it before, it's been out since 2018. It's a great segue into the sequel, and we all play a lot of games, and actually, it's a good game to play just before the new one's released, because there's bits, if you've played it, when it first came out, or played it a few years ago, that you might have forgotten or you might not remember. There it is. There's a head.
Oh, of all the things I was expecting her to have, it weren't a head.
It's wrapped up. Exactly. This is a great shout by Games Guru in the chat. This game is a great example of how to handle such a sensitive issue such as mental health. Yeah, and it is really one of the main focuses of this game. It became one of, if not the biggest factor of making this game when they decided to make it, and they really did want to make it in a way that showcased how people experience it. And it's one of those things that we talk about a lot in modern days. Mental health is massively important, and I can honestly say I don't think I've ever met anybody with psychosis, but if this is how they experience it, it's a lot to handle.
Yeah,
you could spend 8 hours in this game and experience for 8 hours. Imagine living with it.
I think that's, like I say, one of the things I love is how sensitive they've been towards it and put towards that research. But yeah, Games Guru is right. And hi, Games Guru, how are you doing?
And he's followed it up with, "That's her fella's head."
Yeah, of all the places I'd keep it, it's not wrapped in cloth.
Well, without trying to give too much of the game away, because I'm sure you'll go on and play all of it, Sam, she's trying to take it. She's trying to achieve something with it, and she believes by having it with her, she can get what she needs. Go the other way, go left and backwards slightly. Yeah, good on that.
I mean, I'm a fire in the view, I will admit. As soon as we turn that corner, I know this is what we used on our stream advert, but that is stunning. Again, for a 6-year-old game.
And
incredible.
Games Guru again this is one of the things that we said at the start. Graphically, this game, even now, is exceptionally good. I know it's had a Series X and like a next gen update, effectively. But for a game that's 6 years old, it does not feel 6 years old. It doesn't feel like it came out like 2017, 2018. It doesn't. You could play this now, and it feels like it was released recently. Which again, it's just one into the next one. It's going to be such a smooth transition, which I'm super looking forward to. And I love the way they've designed this as well. I don't know if you've done research. This the woman that plays Senua was actually one of the camera women, and she just like embodied the part, and they started using her, and they use like all of her motions, her facial expressions in the game as well. And the way they've captured it, it's really it's got a really realistic feel to the way that you play it and the way it feels as well. So
yeah, it's really, really well made. The controls on it are very smooth as well.
Yeah,
multi-directional, which I quite like. I know that sounds so daft, but there are some games that you play where if you try and move sideways, you just end up spinning on the spot.
Yeah.
The fact that you can shuffle, look at everything as well. Again,
one of the things I love about this, and I don't know if you've noticed it, you probably have without even thinking about it, is the lack of a HUD. It's literally just you and Senua. There's nothing else on the screen. There's nothing else to distract you. It is just you are immersed into this game. And for so many games we play now, there's other things on the screen. There's weapons. There's other things that you see. Maps. You don't get any of that.
Nothing. No.
So we're at our first puzzle, Sam.
We are. So let's see how we get on with this. I can hear this audio traveling around my head. I love it.
What's it saying to you? Here we are. Describe it to us, Sam.
I get it. I want it to focus on the guy that's talking in the background. But I know full well that is a memory. That is all in her head, and it's not going to focus on her because it's a memory. She's imagining all of this.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It could be a memory.
And
it could be a hallucination. It could just be completely made up. Yeah, I'm the same, Adam. And
see if you can work it out.
See if you can work it out.
Oh no! Oh, this is where we're going to fall flat on our faces, isn't it?
The way they use light and shadow in this game as well
is incredible.
Is incredible. And one of the things that they talk about when they talk about psychosis is with this is apparently being able to recognize patterns that other people can't see is one of the symptoms, which I didn't realize until I sort of researched into this game. And they people with psychosis tend to see patterns a lot more that other people don't see.
Wow.
So you'll see a lot of similar patterns like floating around that you probably wouldn't have noticed, but they point them out in this. So right now it's telling you to
this is incredible
to try and open the gate. You need to try and find the symbol.
This is incredible. The details of this game.
Oh. She's. You're close.
We're hallucinating.
Use your focus a little bit. You're close.
I can feel that I'm close.
Can you feel it like hinting at you?
Yeah. But then I've got the voices in my head that are telling me to give up and don't do it.
You're really close, Sam. Use your focus.
This is my focus, isn't it?
Go. Right.
There we go.
That's your focus. There it is.
There we go. So it was in the shadows.
Is in the shadows, yeah.
Okay.
And it's really intriguing because once you
Wow.
sort of know like
Yeah.
what she suffers with, it's like, would the gate have just opened, and was that her imagination? It, like the way the game plays out brings so much stuff into question.
I'm now questioning everything. You're right. Are there things that I'm missing as I'm walking?
Yeah. But how's it feel? How's the gameplay feel? You know, is it a game that you could imagine yourself playing?
100%. It is my style of game, and I know that it's one of them that, you know, that puzzle could have taken me so much longer without prompts and hints and help. But it's one of those that you go to bed at night and think, how do I get past this gate? Because I haven't got a clue. But that's what I love in a game, something that will keep me captivated. It won't just, I don't just go to bed and that's the end of it, or go to bed angry, or go to bed annoyed, which is quite often with most of the games that I play. But to keep your mind engaged in it is phenomenal.
It is. And one of the things that we haven't mentioned with this is it's sort of, it's a little bit different to other games in the way that it sort of has non-linear progress as well. You don't have to do everything in a particular order.
Okay. That's interesting.
Which is interesting, because if you think about a lot of games we play, there tends to be stages that you need to go through, and until you get into like open world, and there's loads of different styles of game, different like tasks and things. But you can do this in a non-linear progress, which is quite interesting. You don't have to do things as like they are set out to do. But even stuff like this, it's like, yeah, it mentioned like the heights then when you got on the green, didn't it?
So I am not a fan of heights, and I did not like that, especially when I realised that it was me that was making her wobble as well.
Yeah.
I thought if you just, pressed on the forward stick, it would go forwards, not realising that I was shifting a little bit to the left and right and wobbling.
So this is just some of the gameplay for this game. We are going to do stuff around Hellblade 2. I'd love to know in chat who's going to look at playing Hellblade 2. Is it on anyone's day one that releases to play? I'd love to be able to play it on day one. Whether I'll get a chance to or not, it is a different matter, but it's definitely on my list to try and play day one. I'd be interested to see if you finish this, how quickly you finish this before the new game comes out as well.
I'll keep you updated on that one. I don't think it'll take very long at all.
No, I don't think it's...
Say that. Depends on the puzzles, right?
It depends on the puzzles, and there's people on this stream that I know that are much better at puzzle games than me, and I'm not the best. I'm not going to lie. So for a game that takes most people 8 hours with extra bits, it probably took me a little bit longer because I'm not the best puzzle player.
No, very much the same. But I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them a lot, and it's somewhat of a reminder that I spent so long playing a certain type of games. I do need to branch out into others, and this is one of the hidden gems that maybe I wouldn't have found had we had not mentioned it on previous streams, or had there not been videos that came with the launch of the trailer of Hellblade 2. If I hadn't have seen that, I wouldn't have been as intrigued to go back and play 1. Sure.
I think that ticked a lot of boxes for a lot of people. That we knew it was being made, but I think a lot of people were taken by surprise that if it's as good as the first one, it's going to be an amazing game. I mean, this game won awards when it first came out. It's won like quite a few awards for different things. And if the second one's is anywhere near as good, even if it's half as good, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, 100%.
And all the we're talking about this. We're talking about Hellblade 2. Again, we talk about this a lot. They are the Game Pass titles.
Yeah,
they're available. This is available to play right now. You can play it on Xbox. You can play it on PC. You could download it. It's 18 gigs. You can play it in. You can play it in about 8 to 10 hours, depending, how long you pay, like how long things take you, puzzles and things like that.
Yeah.
You can put Hellblade 2 on to download straight away, and you can play it via Game Pass. You can play it via Game Pass for console. You can play Senua Saga through Core. You can play this game. You can play it through Core. You can also play it through PC Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. So there's multiple different subscriptions and tiers that you can play this game right now. And with Game Pass for console, PC and Ultimate, that includes the day one release of Hellblade 2 as well.
Oh, no.
So we have got some combat.
Oh, no. Oh, I do have defensive mode. Oof. Got my best concentration face on right now. I weren't expecting to have combat so soon.
No. It's such a good mix. Like this game, it's you can go from just like exploring the world, like solving puzzles, to suddenly you're just thrown into combat. And the way that the combat's designed is it plays really well. But on the new one, they have modified it again, and they've modified it after some famous cinematic combats from a TV series that suited the style of gameplay. So they've improved the combat in the new game as well. And the new one is on Unreal Engine 5. So you think this one looks good, the new one is so good and so immersive. Combats, what's your thought? Easy, hard, intuitive?
Yes. Really like that you've got defense mode, because I did get hit quite a few times there. And although I weren't expecting it, combat mode is very reactive as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very much of a button masher when it comes to fighting games. And it was very, very responsive then to attack when I wanted and defend when I wanted. And this is really strange because I'm now looking at myself potentially on the floor. I love the switch between third person and first person as well. I think that's another really clever depiction of the mental illnesses that she's suffering with, because at some points she is there and she is as one, but then at other points you are looking at yourself as if you're not in the room.
It's really smooth the way that it flips between obviously the first person, the way that it flips between the cinematic to you're thrown into gameplay. There's no switch, there's no like loading screen. It's smooth, so it keeps that immersive experience all the way through.
Interesting.
So
okay,
I've just seen a question from Adam Jones. It will be on cloud. Yes, it will be on cloud. So we're into the cinematic. So we won't go too far into this game today because we could spend 8 hours playing this. But what
easily
we could do is we could look at the trailer for the new Hellblade 2.
I think that sounds like a good shout.
I think that looks like a good shout as well. Like I said, we've covered this because we want to talk about the new one that's coming. You can segue into the next one, and we have a trailer for the new one, which we are going to show you next.
I've dreamt of this. This place of fear and fury. Do you hear it? heartbeat of the lost ones. I can feel them on my skin.
The graphics.
Each death, inked in blood. I won't stop fighting for them.
Look at the use of light again. Colours.
Until the very last beat fades away. You want the truth? All the lives inside me tell me to let go. The shadow will always hang over me. What will I become?
Incredible.
Incredible.
And like you say, it looks like the first one graphically, but I think that's because the first one was so graphically advanced for its time that although this one looks fantastic, yeah,
The-
words.
And that's the thing. The new one looks graphically amazing, but even compared to the first one, it doesn't
incredible.
feel that far apart.
No.
How many years? Games Guru was asked how many years since the first one. So the first one was released, I think it was the 11th of April 2018.
Yes.
So it is like just over 6
years.
years. It's definitely April 2018. As the exact date, it's there or
Yeah.
thereabouts. So like 6 years, but it does not feel like a 6-year-old game.
Not
And,
at all.
you know, I'm going to start repeating this. I've been raving about like how good this game is even 6 years later since the beginning of this stream. I can't emphasize it enough. You know, if you want one title to play, you know, before the new one comes out, I 100% recommend this.
100%. And just from that small snippet of gameplay there, I know that this is something that I'm going to want to continue and want to play more of, because I want to know what she does, where she goes, and how. I was going to say how she does it, but it's technically how I do it, which is probably pretty poorly. But I do want to see that story progress, and the fact that they've managed to make a sequel out of it as well. So a follow-on game, something must happen that makes me want to see what it is to then go and play the next one.
100%. I'm the same, and it's great to see that there's going to be other people playing it on day one as well. You know, it's one of those titles that isn't going to be a massively long title to play, and for me, that's a win.
Yeah,
like I've played a few games recently that, you know, they've taken hundreds of hours, and it's a time consuming. It's time consuming, and in modern day, there's games I've started that I haven't finished, whereas I know realistically I can start the new Hellblade and finish it within a reasonable amount of time.
Absolutely, and like you said, not everyone has that 100 hours to put into a game, and you know, I'd love to be able to do that, but to have something so action packed, 8 hours, I'm sold. I am absolutely sold, and it is award winning as well. Like you say, for the audio, when I was doing some research on it, it won audio awards straight off the bat the year it was released. So I am very optimistic that Hellblade 2 is going to do exactly the same.
I'm the same. I'm the same, and it shows the strength. I think it shows the strength of this game that we thought it was relevant to do a stream on a 6-year-old game. Now,
Exactly.
yes, the new one's coming out, but this game's worth playing. You know, if you've got a day or like 2 days to play a game, 100% you should test this out because it's an absolute gem that is on Game Pass that you can play.
100%. I completely agree with that. And Games Guru, do a Senua cosplay. Do you know what? I would never say never, but the influences, the artistic style of it, I love for the people that know me and things that I also can't say. Yeah. I love the Scottish Celtic influence mixed with the Norse mythology, emphasis on the Norse mythology and other things that could be linked to. But once I read up, I knew who took her partner's soul, and the fact that there could be other people linked to that. I want to see that just in case. It might not. Who knows? But I love those side of it, and you can see in the influences, the artwork is influenced by it, the gameplay style influenced, and I love that. I think it makes such a pretty game that's so relatable as well.
It really does. And MF Cosplay says this. Currently playing your last session of Manalord, so I'd definitely take your suggestions on this one.
We knew there would be some Manalord fans as soon as we saw it. Also, we knew our team would love it. Therefore, but yes, that was a April gem to Game Pass. That was a good one.
It was. And on that note, talking about gems that have landed on Game Pass, I think it's time that we call it a day because there's more games that we're going to have to make videos for.
It is.
This was just a short stream today. We just wanted to, highlight the gem that is Hellblade on Game Pass. We wanted to talk about the value that just this game alone adds to Game Pass with the new one coming, and just wanted to put it out there to encourage as many people to play it before the new one comes out. We're looking forward to the new one coming out, and we want as many people to enjoy it as much as we're going to. So, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your comments. I'd love to know. I'd love to see you all on the next stream that we do. The next one we do will probably be around Game Showcase, I think, the next sort of timing that we do. So hopefully there'll be some more titles out that we can talk about and we can all get excited about and chat about and see what we're all going to enjoy and love playing for the next 6 months. I've been Christian.
I have been Sam, who has thoroughly enjoyed Hellblade 1. And is now going to go and continue to play it.
I'm just going to put this out there, Sam. We've got Instagram, and I want to see some updates on your achievements for when you complete it, please.
You will see it first. You'll see it first.
Awesome.
I will keep you all updated.
Thanks for joining us all. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you soon for another stream around the Xbox Games Showcase.
Have a good evening.
Peace.
Bye.